Hey everybody, welcome to Banjo Quest. My name is Tom Collins. Today I want to help you make fretting easy. I'm going to teach you about the breadcrumb rule today on Banjo Quest. Now, it has been a little while since I've done a public release here on YouTube. The vast majority of my content is being released exclusively through Patreon. If you would like access to literally hundreds of videos that you will not find here, check out Patreon. We are going on a deep dive for Clawhammer Banjo. Plus, we have the coolest banjo t-shirts in the world. This is new custom artwork made by a wonderful artist for Banjo Quest. Check it out in the link below. Also, over on Patreon, we are just about to start a new module on 2 spooky October tunes using 2 exotic tunings that are also easy to get into. So if you want in on that module, spooky October tunes, I call it Clawhammer on the night side. That will be exclusively for patrons over on Patreon. Check the link below if you're interested. So first, let me frame the problem and then we'll talk about the solution. The problem is this. I have a student come in here. The striking hand looks good. It looks right. It looks excellent, in fact. And then when they start adding fretting hand techniques, everything gets fouled up and things grind to a halt. Or at least things look difficult. You never want somebody to look at you when you're playing and say, wow, it looks really hard to play the banjo. No, in fact, we would rather have them say, wow, it doesn't look like they're moving their hands at all. It looks so effortless. How can they be getting all of those sounds to be coming out of that instrument with such minimal motion? That's sort of the sleight of hand of Clawhammer that I like to think about when I'm working on my own techniques. One of the secrets of this is the breadcrumb technique. And so very simply, this is a technique where we leave subsequent fingers down on an ascending run, and that way they're conveniently there when we go back down. Don't worry if you didn't understand that. I'm going to demo it out and I have drills for you today to help perfect it. So what you'll see in someone who doesn't know good fretting hand efficiency is they're going to do what I call the spider walk. So they will play watch my left hand again. Switch fingers. Now, it's not so bad at this tempo with this particular phrase. This is just an example phrase, but imagine if you had a long, complicated tune that was populated with phrases that were similar to this. This is a partial C major scale, so we know by watching Banjo Quest that all a tune really is a scale or mode played out of order. Sometimes it's not even played out of order, sometimes it's played in order. So we need to master those runs to be good at playing typical tunes. So this is just a partial C major scale. And when a student plays this, they will engage the next note and then they will lift the finger that is just ending or leaving the note. They'll lift the finger physically off the fretboard. If you stack a lot of these techniques or phrases back to back, you get the spider walk problem where every move is a double move on the fretboard. It's exhausting, it's messy, it's hard to do, and that's not what we want. We want you to feel like you are just at ease on this fretboard. Virtuosity is not a prerequisite to create beautiful music, but ease and comfort both are, and that's what we're working on. So let's make things easy. I think about Hansel and Gretel. I think about the forest. I think if I'm going into the forest, the tangled forest with many different pathways, I need to be leaving a breadcrumb trail behind me so I can get back out. So here's how the breadcrumb trail works. As we ascend on a single string, we're going to leave the previous fingers down so we have a breadcrumb trail to follow out of the woods. So in our example, I'm using that breadcrumb trail. I'm keeping that first finger planted. All right, let's try that together. I'm going to throw some tab up on the screen. Let's play this together and work on our breadcrumb rule. Here we go. Remember, leave the index finger planted until we need an open first string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here I have another pattern for you. I call this a reverse sweep, where we're starting with the drop thumb on strings 1 and 2, and then we're doing a ditty on strings 4 and 5. So here we go. I'm going to throw the tab up on screen nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So keeping that index down the entire time. All right, except for the open first string. Let's go on to the next hardest passage, where we're kind of compressing these ideas into a single 4/4 measure. Here we go. Throwing that up on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me slow that down for you nice and easy. This one's hard. Go slow. Now let's speed it up. The beauty of the breadcrumb technique is, because we're working in and out of this fixed position, because we have fingers down and available on the strings and the frets, we can generate tremendous speed with a fairly difficult pattern like this one. Check this out. Faster. It's going to take a little while to build up that kind of tempo, but anybody can do that if they put the work in. That should be realizable by just about anybody. So we're not done. We have other drills here. Drills are good. Drills allow us to focus on the foundational concepts in Clawhammer and stringed instruments, and then we can apply them to tunes, which will hopefully end up being easier than the drills themselves. And you can see there's a nice cycle of doing hard stuff in order to feel comfortable doing slightly less hard stuff. All right, let's go. We've got another pattern here that I've written for you. Now this time we're gonna use the breadcrumb rule, and we're going to go all the way with our little finger. So we're gonna be using index, middle, little. Don't worry for those of you who can't make this spread. I will talk about that at the end of this pattern. Check this out. Here we go. Tabs on screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if that stretch, if you can't leave those fingers, those first 2 fingers planted to get that big stretch with the little finger, that's okay. Remember, our fretticate rules generally are soft. So if there is a context or a reason why you don't want to put the breadcrumb rule in play, then you can think your way around it and solve the problem. So for those of you who don't want to stretch or can't stretch with that little finger, let me give you an alternative. Here we go. I'm just going to slide up and use my ring finger when it comes time to grab that high 5th fret note. So it'll look something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep in mind, after I hit that 5th fret and slide back or move back to that 3rd fret, I'm activating both fingers on that fretboard on frets 2 and 3 to get back into my original breadcrumb-rich positioning. There will be more about this kind of strategizing in the advanced breadcrumb video over on Patreon. Okay, as we do on Banjo Quest, we're gonna make this even harder. Now we're gonna compress this idea, throw some drop thumbs at you. Hold on, we'll go slow. I'm gonna show you first with the pinky in play, and then I'll give you an example without the pinky, using the ring finger instead. Here we go. I'm gonna go slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can generate a lot of speed with this. All right, so an example of that without the little finger, if you can't make that stretch. Note that I'm moving my thumb with the hand, or I'm trying to as I move. Sometimes I don't always, but I try to move the thumb with me, carry the thumb with me. It is a player on the board, and I need to always bring it along as I travel up and down the neck. Don't leave it behind. So that's the breadcrumb rule. We're simply leaving fingers down on previous frets as we ascend scales, modes, or melody lines. It makes for a much more efficient fretting, it makes for a positive engagement with the banjo at all times, and it prevents you from overworking those fretting fingers doing that spider walk that we see so often, or sort of the flying fingers problems where fingers actually straighten out off the board before then going back down. It keeps everything nice, low, contained, soft, and that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to make this instrument feel easy and smooth so you can just have fun and enjoy being in the moment making music. We will be going on a deeper dive. There is much more to talk about this breadcrumb rule, including more difficult exercises that will really challenge your hands, the timing between right and left hands, and how you strategize your freticate as you move through tunes. That will all be happening on Patreon, and I will see you next time right here on Banjo Quest.